Arizona Department of Education School Finance presentation of the Introduction to Data Verification Reports 2. This is the third in our AZEDS submission to AZEDS Reports series of videos. In every presentation, we provide school finance contact and website information. Today, we will provide a brief review of the systems used to generate these data verification reports, as well as the data collection elements. We will walk through the AZEDS process and how the data verification reports are produced, and end with troubleshooting tips. Please keep in mind that this is an introduction to student data verification reports and geared toward new users. We will be introducing the reports and discussing how you might use them to validate your student data. This page contains the contact information for each division of school finance. School finance is broken up into 3 divisions, which each manage separate areas of the finance process. Each group works out of a shared email inbox so we can more quickly respond to the emails we receive. The account analyst team handles student data, the school district employee report, instructional calendars, transportation reporting, and 915s. For questions related to these topics, please email sfanalystteam@azed.gov. The payments team handles APOR and CHAR reports, the Classroom Site Fund, and the Instructional Improvement Fund. All questions related to the allocation of state aid should be directed to the payments team at the email address in the purple box. The budgets team handles expenditure budgets, annual financial reports, and all other budget-related reports. For questions related to these topics, please contact the budgets team at the email address in the blue box. We've also provided the web address for ADE Connect, which houses the AZEDS portal where you'll access student data reports. You may reach us by phone at the phone number in the red box, and general school finance questions can be emailed to schoolfinance@azed.gov. The school finance website located at the top of this screen contains different pages related to student data. In the Knowledge Center, you'll find links to training videos, announcements regarding targeted webinars and in-person trainings, as well as instruction guides that will help you with the student data process. The Memos tab contains school finance memos published each fiscal year, and on our homepage you'll find Hot Topics, which are announcements published by the different divisions in school finance. You can also reach the analyst team by email at sfanalystteam@azed.gov. We do ask that when you send us an email, you provide state student IDs for questions related to specific students, or screenshots if you are contacting us regarding an error you need assistance with. Again, the home page for the School Finance website is at the top of the screen here, and you'll see the Knowledge Center and Memos tabs on the light blue bar near the top of the screen, which were mentioned on the previous slide. The School Finance homepage also houses the 10 most recent hot topics. These announcements are posted by the different divisions within school finance, and you can subscribe to receive alerts when a hot topic is posted. To do so, please visit our website and click on any hot topic in the list on the left. When you do that, the screen in the background will appear, and you'll need to click on the red icon holding the Subscribe for Updates sign. The subscribe screen will appear, and here you'll select the categories you'd like to receive alerts regarding, as well as the frequency with which you'd like to receive those alerts. Then you'll enter your email address, click subscribe, and follow the rest of the prompts. We do suggest you sign up for all of the categories to make sure you don't miss a hot topic that may apply to you. In part 1 of this series, titled Introduction to Student Data Collection, we reviewed the systems and data collection elements in greater detail than what we will do in this presentation. If you haven't already, please be sure to review that video. So just briefly, there are 2 systems used to report student membership data. Your Student Information System, or SIS, or SIS, is where your registrar or other data entry staff will enter student-related data. Your Student Information System is the system that sends information to AZEDS. AZEDS, or Arizona Education Data Standards, is the system Arizona uses to collect, compile, maintain, and report student-level data. It is important to note that, statutorily, ADE cannot manipulate your data. The data you see reflected in AZEDS reports for your district or school is a reflection of the data you've uploaded from your SIS to AZEDS. What data is collected? Student membership and program data, instructional calendars, and teacher course data are all submitted by your SIS and housed in the AZEDS system. Staff data and transportation data are sent by school districts only and are collected in the legacy system called Common Logon. Eventually, those applications will also move over to AZEDS and all of this data will be collected there. Please note that other data elements are collected in your student information system, like immunizations and discipline. However, they are not sent to AZEDS as part of this data collection process. Now we'll do a high-level walkthrough of the AZEDS process that generates the data verification reports. The blue person icon on this screen represents the person at your school or district who is responsible for entering data into your SIS, which is represented here by the computer icon. Your student information system should have a feature you'll use to define the frequency with which you want your data to be submitted to AZEDS. While each SIS may offer different options as to how often your data can be submitted, it is important to note that it must be submitted a minimum of every 20 days and that you must maintain your own documentation showing your data is uploaded a minimum of every 20 days for auditing purposes. When your data is submitted to AZEDS, it flows through the API or Application Programming Interface. The API is typically open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. However, there are occasions throughout the year when it is taken down for maintenance. When your data flows through the API, a transaction is created and the data flows into the verification phase of this process. The data that appears in the verification phase is data that has landed in AZEDS. Nightly at 5 p.m., integrity runs and results in data landing in the post-integrity phase. This phase will contain data that has met the requirements in the integrity rules. Immediately after integrity has finished running, the ACE or ADM calculation engine process will run. The data that lands in the post-ACE phase will represent data that determines your state aid payment. The integrity and ACE processes are sets of rules determined by statute and internal technical requirements that are applied to your data. A report is generated every time your student data interacts with the process in AZEDS. When the data flows into the API, transaction reports are generated called the Trans 10 and Trans 15 reports. These reports are explored in detail in the first video of this series. There are many reports that are generated when student data flows into AZEDS. In the second video in this series, we reviewed the Stud 10, Stud 15, Stud 72, SPED 10, and ELL 10 reports. In this webinar, we will review the DRP 10, ABSAT 10, MEM 10, CAL 10, and CAL 15 reports. Again, integrity will run nightly and the results of that process interacting with your data will result in the INTEG 15 and INTEG 35 reports generating. The INTEG 15 will show student integrity results and the INTEG 35 will show calendar integrity results. These reports can be pulled to show what data has passed or failed integrity. After the nightly ACE run, the ADM 15 and ADM 20 reports are generated. The ADM 15 shows student details and the ADM 20 shows summary counts. These reports should be used to help you reconcile your data and ensure that they contain all of the students that your student information system shows you should receive state aid for. Contact your vendor if you aren't sure which reports you can generate in your SIS to compare your data to the ADM 15. Now we will discuss how to access the reports and review the data verification reports in greater detail. On the top right-hand side of the ADE website, there is a link for ADE Connect. You must have access to ADE Connect to run the data verification reports. When you click on that link and log in, you'll have access to all of the applications that you've been given permission to interact with. If you do not have an ADE Connect account, contact your entity administrator. Additional details on finding your entity administrator can be found in the first video in this series. Once you've logged into ADE Connect, you'll click on the link to the AZEDS portal highlighted here in yellow. When you reach the AZEDS portal, it is important to stop and look over the System Status page. This page contains important information related to the status of your student data reports. The table in the center of the page contains the start and end dates and times of when Integrity and ACE last ran. As I said earlier, there are some occasions when Integrity and/or ACE do not run. If you notice that Integrity didn't run the night before, it is highly likely that the data in your verification reports will not reconcile to the data in your SIS. Please be sure that you always review the status column as well. If the status of any process does not read completed, then that may also cause your data in AZEDS not to match the data in your SIS. You can see the REST API status on the screen is available. When the IT team closes the API for maintenance, this status will show as unavailable. From this page, you can access the report screen from the menu bar at the top of the screen, which is where you'll review your student data verification reports. When the reports page appears, you'll see the green menu bars on the left-hand side. You can click on each green bar to expand it and view the reports within that section. There are different permissions in ADE Connect to access different reports. If you do not see the reports you need to reconcile your data, please contact your entity administrator. In the first two videos in this series, we reviewed the Trans 10, Trans 15, Stud 10, Stud 15, Stud 72, SPED 10, and ELL 10 reports. In this webinar, we will review the DRP 10, ABSAT 10, and MEM 10, which are all in the student details section of this page. We will also review the Cal 10 and Cal 15, which are in the calendar section of this page. Again, there are many reports that are part of the student data collection and reconciliation process. However, we are going to focus solely on these data verification reports today. First, let's review the DRP-10 report. DRP stands for Dropout Recovery Program, which is a program dedicated to helping students who have left the education system by giving them the ability to achieve their high school diploma in an alternative setting. If you have been approved to operate a dropout recovery program, you'll be able to see the DRP data you've submitted to AZEDS for your students on the DRP-10 report. DRP programs are required to submit data regarding the students' learning plan dates and their monthly progress, which can be reviewed on the DRP-10 report. This report will provide important information to help DRP programs to reconcile their data and clear integrity errors. Additional information regarding DRP programs can be found on the website at the bottom of this slide. The ADE AzEDS team has created a QRG or Quick Reference Guide to accompany each report that is available in the AzEDS portal. You can reach each report's respective QRG by clicking on the eye next to the report title, or you can locate these guides by visiting the website at the top of the screen. Each QRG provides you with the report description as well as a breakdown of the report parameters. The QRG for the DRP-10 defines each field in the report and can help you to understand any integrity errors you see related to your DRP students. It also provides you with a description of the outputs of the report, which is very helpful for new users as there are output fields in this report that you won't see on other AzEDS reports. The ABSAT 10 is a critical report for clearing integrity errors related to student absence or attendance data. If you participated in or watched our last webinar, you may recall that the Stud 72 report displays student attendance. However, it only includes the attendance that occurs within the student's enrollment dates. The ABSAT 10 report displays all absence or attendance data regardless of a student's membership entry or exit date. This is a pre-integrity report, so it displays the data as you've submitted it to AzEDS. This means that even if the data does not meet the integrity requirements, it will still be displayed here. Your student information system may allow you to record and upload student attendance on a date that a student was not enrolled. This attendance will not pass integrity, and you can use the ABSAT 10 report to identify where that attendance lies, so you can resolve it in your SIS and submit the correction to AZEDS. You can pull this report for one school or all, select the number of days you'd like to see data for, and select the start date for the time frame displayed. The ABSAT 10 QRG, again found at the website located at the top of this slide, provides instructions regarding how to pull the report, a detailed description of the report parameters, as well as details regarding the outputs. This QRG displays an example of the report as well as how to export the report and locate the resource ID, which is created when the data moves through the API into AZEDS. This resource ID can be used to submit corrections to your attendance or absence data. The MEM10 is a new report that was created this year in response to a need for LEAs to be able to view all of the membership submitted for their students. This report shows shared student enrollments, or limited memberships, for all memberships submitted by an LEA. This report allows you to see any other memberships that have been submitted for your students each fiscal year. This includes enrollments that overlap or are concurrent, and those that do not. This will give you a list of the other LEAs that you are sharing funding for students with. This report can be pulled for one school or all schools and can display concurrent membership or all memberships. The option to include or exclude summer withdrawals, which are students that pre-enrolled with your school but never attended, only pertains to your students. Deselecting this option will still allow summer withdrawals at other LEAs to display on your report. The MEM10 is very helpful when reconciling ADM and understanding limiting, which we will review in depth later in this series of webinars. The AZEDS team recently created a QRG for the MEM10 report, and it is now available on the website at the top of this screen. This QRG provides many details regarding the report parameters. It also includes an example of the report, along with descriptors of the report outputs. You can use this QRG to help familiarize yourself with the fields in this new report and better understand how you can use it to gain an understanding of and reconcile any shared student funding and concurrencies. The Cal 10 is again a pre-integrity summary report, and it shows all of the calendar data that has been submitted for all schools within the district or by particular school types. This report allows you to see a summary of the event descriptors, for example, breaks or holidays, the first and last days of instruction, the total number of instructional days, and days not in session with corresponding event descriptor, as well as the 40th day and 100th day for each submitted calendar. This report also includes the calendar code and the calendar type for each submitted calendar. The calendar code is a sequence submitted to AZEDS that will include your LEA ID, school entity ID, calendar type, and the sequence number you choose to associate with each individual calendar. This cannot be replicated. The calendar type is a submitted field and determines the number of instructional days per week and the grade level of the students reported on each individual calendar. The declared begin date and declared end date and declared instructional days fields are submitted fields and not determined by AZEDS. The corresponding fields in the calendar summary box will show you what AZEDS sees as your first and last days of instruction, as well as the number of instructional days. This is a very useful tool to use when you're first uploading your calendars to view a summary of what has been submitted. The Cal 10 QRG is another document that was recently created and posted on the website at the top of this screen. It will also be available by clicking on the I next to the report name in the AZEDS portal. This document again provides the details regarding the report parameters and outputs, along with a sample of the report. The Cal 10 report is a newer report, and this QRG will help you to use this report to better understand the calendar data that has landed in AZEDS. The Cal 15 report is very useful for resolving calendar integrity errors. This report provides you with many details of each submitted calendar that are also shown on the Cal 10, for example, the declared begin and end dates, the declared number of instructional days, as well as the calendar code and type. What makes this report valuable is that it provides the calendar resource ID created by AZEDS when the calendar was submitted and the resource ID of each event descriptor. If, for some reason, you have to delete a submitted calendar, you would use these resource IDs to do so. The calendar event resource ID can be used to target individual event descriptors or specific dates, and the calendar resource ID is for the calendar itself. This report is also very helpful in resolving integrity errors regarding required holidays and breaks. There are several integrity rules impacted by calendar event descriptors, and this report will show you each event descriptor as it has been submitted to AZEDS. You can export this report into CSV to easily narrow down any issues related to multiple event descriptors submitted for a particular day, holidays submitted on an incorrect date, or issues with break event descriptors. The Cal 15 QRG is also available at the website at the top of this slide. We worked with the AZEDS team to create this QRG, which provides details regarding the report parameters, the report outputs, and an example with a detailed description of each of the report fields. This is another useful tool when submitting or validating your calendars and should be reviewed whenever you are utilizing the Cal 15 report. Troubleshooting. When troubleshooting these reports, it is important to note that they are pre-integrity reports and therefore a reflection of the data submitted to AZEDS. If you are seeing data in these reports that does not match the data in your student information system, we recommend you review your Trans 15 report to ensure your uploads are working properly. For details on that report, please review the first video in this series. You can also call your vendor for assistance. They should be able to provide you with details on what resources you can use in your SIS to compare your data to the data in these reports. They can also help with upload issues. They can provide you with next steps if the issue you are experiencing is not an issue within your student information system. We of course suggest you review the report QRGs as well to ensure you understand the outputs of the reports. If you need additional assistance on how to resolve calendar integrity issues, please review the AZEDS Calendar Integrity Guide found at the website listed here. This guide provides you with a detailed view of the error, message, reason for the error, and how to resolve all calendar integrity issues. If you need to make a change to a calendar, you'll need to submit a calendar access request form, which can be found at the website displayed under Calendar Change here. You can also always email the SF Analyst team with questions on how to troubleshoot issues on these reports. Again, we do ask that when you submit an email, you include a screenshot for issues with specific reports or student IDs for issues with particular students. On behalf of School Finance, we'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We hope it was helpful, and we encourage you to email us any questions you might have on the topics reviewed in this video.